If you have fluid retention in your hands, your arm, regardless of the cause, it might be due to lymph nodes being removed. It may be due to a mastectomy. It may be due to surgery or an injury. Regardless, I'm gonna show you a 3-minute routine that's gonna help clear congestion. Now, this is where I tell people to always start. We gotta start here. Now, before you put in the comments as I'm going through this, what if I've had lymph nodes removed there? Do I still do that location? Yes. Yes, you do. Reason being, just because you've had lymph nodes removed doesn't mean that they're gonna, or that they did, or were capable of removing every single lymph node. Now, they may have, but still creating the pressure in that area or in that location can help move lymphatic fluid, reducing the pressure and ultimately the fluid retention in your fingers, hands, arm. Now, does the location of the fluid retention matter? Yes. You always need to go to the lowest point in which your arm is below where the fluid retention is. Now, let me say that differently. If you have a lot of fluid retention, let's say in your armpit, upper breast tissue, maybe even like tricep area, you must go below that area in order to reduce or remove the congestion. So that means you have to go at least to the elbow. Now you might be going, how does that make sense? Well, you might actually have fluid retention in this area because of congestion in the elbow. You may have fluid congestion in this area because of your armpit. So you have to go just below the area in order to get the best results. So if you have fluid retention in your hands, we gotta go all the way to the fingertips. We gotta get everything moving for you to see results. Now, what I'm showing and what I'm teaching, is this the only thing or the only way to do it? No. If you've had surgery, if you've had removal, if you have scars, if you have like an injury where, let's say you severed one of your bicep tendons, you may need to do things slightly differently because your physiology has changed. Does that make sense? When we have lymph nodes removed, when we have a mastectomy done, when we have surgery done, our physiology changes. So we may need to alter how we do it, but I always tell people, look, let's start here. We got to start foundationally and see how you respond. What I can tell you is I've had many thousands of women who've had surgeries, injuries, who go, I did start to notice a difference when I started to do this 3-minute routine. It didn't fix everything, not for everybody. For some people it did, but this is where you got to start. So regardless of what you've had done, I want you to start here. And again, it's 3 minutes. It's not going to take very much time. Now, before I get into it, I want you to know that just because you have maybe more fluid retention in your left arm, like I'm showing here, does not mean you do not do and clear the specific 7. You should still be clearing the specific 7 at least once a day, regardless of where your lymphatic congestion is. So I'm going to teach you very site specific, but I still want you to do full body to make sure that your whole body's lymphatic system has the capability of draining. Okay, here's the routine. I'm only going to show it on one side, but again, if you have fluid retention on both sides, do both sides, okay? So we're going to start by clearing our termini, and we're going to do 30 seconds in each location. Now it's nice and slow. It's nothing aggressive. We're clearing our termini to create space for fluid to drain. Again, our termini is the end point. This is where all of our lymphatic fluid drains to. So if we have lymphatic congestion here, we are not going to be able to have anywhere be able to drain ultimately, because think about it. If this is the clog point, how is anything else going to drain back to the circulatory system if this is where it needs to go? It's not. Next, we're going to move on to apical. We're going to do 30 seconds here as well. Now, again, you can do anywhere between 10 and 50 pumps per area. The more congestion you have, the more you're going to want to do. You're going to probably want to do this at minimum once a day, every day for a while. If you have fluid retention, it's going to take some time to get it to come down, especially if you've had surgeries or injuries to the area. From here, we're going to do armpit. And you may notice too that sometimes when you start clearing your termini, you may feel or get the sensation that other areas like your head is also clearing. Never a bad thing. If you're not feeling that, that's okay too. It doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. Okay, from here, we're gonna go on and we're gonna do 30 seconds on our elbow. Now, nothing that I'm doing is aggressive. It's not hard. I'm not pushing in. I'm not digging in. Lymphatic drainage, we always start gentle. Again, the pressure is the amount of pressure you would put on your eyeball. And let me know if me giving you guys these cues while we go through routines is helpful, or if you would rather just me go through the routines and be silent and you go through it with me. And then we're gonna do wrist. So 30 seconds on our wrist. Now we're gonna pretend that we had fluid retention all the way down through our hands, okay? We have fluid retention everywhere. This is exactly what we're gonna be doing. This is the exact routine. Now, after you do this, after you open up and after you really clear the lymph nodes, clear those clusters of lymph nodes, you can then go and do manual lymphatic massage. You can go and do dry brushing to help move the lymphatic fluid in the vessels. So after I do this, I'm always gonna go back and at least re-clear the termini, because what can happen is as we get the fluid moving, what can happen is that fluid is thicker. It can get congested back at our termini again. And we want to make sure that our termini is always free and clear so that all of the lymphatic fluid can drain. That is the routine, guys. It's not super time consuming, super simple. The more you do it, the easier it's going to be. And again, you have the choice to do anywhere between 10 and 50 seconds depending upon your needs. The other thing you can do is if you have tons of fluid retention, feel free to go back up through the lymph nodes. So you go down the arm and then you can go back up the arm and re-clear all of those lymph nodes just to make sure everything is draining properly. Give this a try for at minimum a week. And if you do have fluid retention, and a lot of it, you might want to be doing it twice a day. Again, don't forget to do the specific 7. Your whole body needs a little TLC when it comes to lymphatic drainage. Stay hydrated, move your body, and let me know how this goes. I'd love your guys' feedback. Thanks for being here and happy draining.